Hi guys, welcome to CHELSGROWS. I'm Chelsea. I'm on a mission this year to grow as many flowers, vegetables, and herbs as I can without owning land. I grow on my 40 square foot balcony garden, but I only grow in about half of it. So I only grow in about 20 square feet. And I am still in the process of finding land to grow in this season, but that's okay. More on that in the next video, I would say. Today we're gonna do something I've never done before, and maybe you've never done it before, so we'll learn this together. We're gonna winter sow in recyclable containers. In one of my last videos, I showed you guys my indoor seed starting setup, which is in this corner. I'll show some pictures or videos or something. I realized that some of you guys might not want to invest in grow lights or an indoor seed starting setup, and I totally get that. So today we're going to sow seeds in completely free containers, recyclable containers. These are from when my husband and I get takeout. I actually found these in our apartment recycling bins. This is like a huge strawberry container. So I figured there's a month left in winter, at least here in the Pacific Northwest. Our last frost date is end of March. So I figured I have a month left to start winter sowing stuff in free containers. Maybe you guys want to start seeds the easy way too. Basically, these act as little greenhouses. And what we'll do today is we'll put seed starting mix in, sow the seeds, and then we'll take these out on the balcony and we'll just leave them there. It's allegedly as simple as that, so we shall see. But some of these containers don't have holes in them. The reason why you want holes in these containers is so that when they do get watered, they have drainage holes on the bottom. And then you want holes at the top so the seeds can get oxygen, because seeds need oxygen to germinate. So if you have these fruit ones, like this strawberry fruit one, we don't have to do anything to this, I don't think, because it already has, it has holes at the top, it has holes at the bottom. If you get fruit containers, they're already ready to go. But if you're like me and you have a lot of old takeout containers that you want to use, you will need to drill some holes, which I will show you how to do. So I have a power drill. This was the cheapest one on Amazon. I can link it in the description. I personally think it's easy to use. I'm sure you could take something sharp, like a sharp knife or something, and just poke holes. I just think using a power drill with this kind of attachment is it's just really quick, in my opinion. Because I already drilled holes at the bottom of this one, as you can see. So now I want to drill holes in the top, in the lid. I like putting whatever I'm drilling a hole in, I like putting it in a container with soil, because it's just soft. This is just how I do it, okay? So this takeout container is now ready to go. There's holes on the bottom and holes at the top. And now it's essentially its own little greenhouse. This is another old takeout container. It needs holes at the bottom, holes at the top. And since it's pretty cheap plastic, these might crack on you, but I mean, it's free, so who cares, right? See, that just happened. So I tried to drill a hole and it just kind of cracked, but I don't know. I don't care much because this is just free material. I didn't spend money on it. This just completely cracked. It's fine. I think it'll be fine, and if it's not, oh well. Perfect. So now this is ready to go. I'll show you guys one more example. So this is a salad container. I'm gonna do the same thing. Drill holes at the bottom and holes at the top. If you're anti-plastic, good for you, I guess, but this is just a free way to start your seeds. And I see a lot of people have success with it. And if you're a beginner gardener, I think this is probably the easiest way for you to start your seeds, because you don't need to invest in grow lights. You don't need to invest in an indoor seed starting setup. You just sow everything, put it outside, and wait for things to germinate. Easy. This one was the cleanest, easiest one to do, the salad container. So if you buy salads often from the grocery store, I suggest this, because that held together really well. Let's get into seeds. So do you guys remember when we organized this a couple weeks ago? If you didn't see my seed haul and my seed organization video, I'll put the link in the description and I'll put it up here for you to watch. But I organized over 40 different varieties of seeds into this binder. And now we finally get to crack into it and start sowing seeds. But I also wrote down seed sowing, February 2026, winter sowing in recycled containers, and place outside to germinate. I'm a big write it down person. I find if I write things down, then I just do them. I'm gonna sow 4 different types of flowers today: calendula, snapdragons, rudbeckia, and clarkia amoena. I'm sowing cool season crops. So calendula, snapdragons, rudbeckia, and clarkia amoena. Those are flowers that like cooler weather. Clarkia amoena, I feel like that's probably not, it's a native flower here in Washington. It is called farewell to spring, and the reason why is because it blooms at the end of spring. And I used to grow it at my last job. I saved seeds from that flower, and I'm hoping they germinate because that's the first plant I ever saved seeds from. So that's the flowers. Herbs today, I'll be sowing parsley, cilantro, chives, and scallions. For leafy greens today, I'll be sowing kale, Swiss chard, and lettuces. So that's a lot. I just want to take advantage of, sowing seeds in the winter outside and just waiting for them to germinate. That just like seems so simple. I'm gonna be able to start hundreds of seeds if this works. All of my seeds are from Epic Gardening and Botanical Interests. I got the herb bundle from Botanical Interests, which is what we'll be sowing today. So I'll put all those discount codes and everything down in the description so you guys can get your seeds this season. Why? I'm really excited. I want to start with this container because it's big, it's beautiful, it's ready to go. My last video, I showed you guys how I make my do-it-yourself seed starting mix. I made this only a couple days ago. It's pretty dry actually. So what I want to do is I want to wet down this mix. It's just best practice for when you're sowing seeds to get the mix nice and like watered through. Another reason why I'm doing this method, you guys, is I can't really start seeds indoors. I can, but I'm leaving to go see my family in Hawaii in a couple weeks. So if I started seeds indoors, then I think I would have to like hire someone or like have someone come and water my seedlings during that week while I'm gone. And I'm sure it would be no problem for someone to do it, but I'm kind of a control freak and I'd rather be around for that, if that makes sense. I'm weird like that. Okay, anyway, don't be scared to get dirty. This is good for us. Playing in the dirt is good for your brain. That's what science says. We will start with this strawberry container. We will fill it with seed starting mix. This is my first time sowing seeds like this, so hopefully it works, but if it doesn't work, it's okay. We can just figure it out later. I'm doing this on this tray. Working on a tray makes things so much easier. This up. There we go. There we go. So I have about 2 inches of seed starting mix in this container. This was something else that was in our recycling. I'm just gonna use this to kind of make a barrier between the seeds. We got snapdragons. We got calendula from last year. I'm praying these still work. The clarkia amoena seeds that I saved, and then these are black-eyed Susan seeds that are from last year that I saved. Another thing we should do before we sow anything is label. My sweet sister got me these markers and these labels for Christmas. Okay, we'll definitely do the snapdragons in here. Oh wait, hold on, will this close? Yeah, cool. So this is how I do my seed labels. Just snapdragon, then the date. So if you have ever sown snapdragon seeds, they're so tiny. There's like probably hundreds of snapdragon seeds in there. I don't know if you guys can see them. but they are so freaking tiny. All we're gonna be doing is pushing these into the surface. I don't know how many seeds I'm sowing, probably way too many. This is such an easier way to sow seeds, especially for tiny seeds like this, for snapdragons. That was so easy. I just sowed, I think, probably 100 snapdragon seeds in 4 seconds. That's awesome. Okay, so these black-eyed Susan also were just pressed into the surface. So I'm going to sow these black-eyed Susan into this container. I don't know why I want to keep similar sown seeds in the same tray. To me, for some reason, that like just makes sense. I have so many seeds left from last year. I might end up with like hundreds of flowers that germinate, but we'll just deal with that later. If this works, this might be my new favorite way to sow seeds. It just seems too easy, you know? So that container is done. What I'll do now is I'm gonna take this. So the media is already pretty wet because remember we watered it through. But now I'm just going to spray the top so the seeds get wet. And so there's a bit of moisture because when we close this, all that moisture and that warmth will gather at the top in that condensation. So there you go. There's one little seed house down. That was so easy. I'm very pleased. All right, and then the next flowers will be the Clarkia amoena and the calendula. So same thing, I'm just gonna sow this container with a couple inches worth of seed starting mix, some recycled material, split this down the middle, just like that. I made the tags for them, Clarkia amoena and calendula, plus the date. Luckily these like bend. So even though they're quite tall tags, they just kind of bend, which is cool. I don't remember how to sow these. I honestly should probably give my old manager a call and ask. With seeds, you can kind of tell by how big or small they are of how to sow them. So with the snapdragon seeds, you know how that's just like you just press it into the seed starting mix? It's because they're so tiny, microscopic small. And this is pretty similar. It's very small seeds. I don't know if you guys can see those. So I think I'm gonna surface sow these as well. I might do a little sprinkle on top. And then for the calendula, seed depth 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Calendula seeds are so cool to me. They're like little hooks. They've always just been such a pretty seed to me. And there's actually calendula that I planted last year blooming on my balcony. I'll show you guys like a picture or a video or something. Did you guys see those calendula seeds on the surface? So they want to be 1/4 inch covered. So I'm just going to take a handful of seed starting mix and I'm just going to cover those seeds. And then I'll take my little sprayer. Boom. Flowers are sown. I love checking stuff off. So we just sowed all those flowers so we can check off calendula, snapdragons, rudbeckia, and Clarkia amoena. And the next thing we'll sow is herbs. Let's go for herbs. And we'll get to open all of these new amazing herb packet seeds from Epic Gardening. So what should we sow first? All right, let's just sow tons of chives in here. Common chives. These are perennial, so they will grow back year over year. Since Epic Gardening and Botanical Interest seeds are just so easy to use, they will always tell you the seed depth, and that is 1/4 inch. And it says sow outside 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date, which for me is literally right now. And so this is a great reason why I'm winter sowing these. And when I say winter sowing, that means like I'm sowing these and then I'm putting them outside in the winter. I hope that makes sense. You guys will see me when I'm sowing in like cells. I'm pretty meticulous about this, but this just feels like the Wild West, you know what I mean? So 1/4 inch. So we'll just layer some more seed mix on top, and that's it. Things like chives you can just sow, like direct sow in your garden all season long. I didn't even make a label, you guys. Chives, done. Seems like too easy. This seems like something's gonna go wrong because it's too easy, you know what I mean? Okay, next we're gonna do cilantro. I've yet to grow cilantro really well. Hopefully this is the year, you guys. I've seen lots of tricks to sow cilantro well. I've seen people soak them overnight because they have a really hard seed shell. I've seen people crush them. I'll show you because their seeds they're literally just like a ball. They're a little ball. I've seen people like crush them up. I probably should have soaked them, but I just kind of did that so they can maybe crush up a little bit. Let's just try it without crushing it, without doing anything, and see how it goes. These should be 1/2 inch deep. I love the smell of cilantro seeds. All of those seeds, probably way too many seeds. Cilantro, just sowed about 50 cilantro seeds. And in a later video, I'll show you guys how I water these because I don't water these from the top. If I'm putting any water on the top, it's through like a really gentle stream. I will bottom water them. I'll show you guys how I do that in a later video. Cool, cilantro done. We're zooming through this. All right, the next seed we're gonna sow is parsley. It does so well here in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's because it's so mild. It's still growing in my garden now in the middle of winter. Probably my most thriving herb in the garden. I keep forgetting to make a label and then my hands get so dirty. Sow outside 4 to 6 weeks before your last average frost day, which for me it's like right now. Epic Gardening and Botanical Interest do this. They always say what they recommend. So for cilantro, they recommend to sow it outside because they don't really like being transplanted. You can transplant anything. Let's just make that clear. Like you really can start anything in a container and then transplant it into a bigger container. I mean, that's technically what I'm doing here. I have a feeling this, like transplanting from this and transplanting it in like clumps rather than from like individual seed cells. I don't know, I just have a feeling it's gonna be easier. So we'll just do the same as we've been doing. Sprinkling the seeds on top and then putting more seed starting mix on the top of the seeds. This is a really easy way to sow and I'm like praying that this works so I can do this every winter because I'm literally starting hundreds of seeds and it's taking me minutes, where I just feel like with seed starting cells, I love them, I will use them this year, but they're just more finicky. That's just the reality. Done. All right, my last herbs I want to sow are 2 different types of scallions, White Lisbon, Tokyo Long White. And I'll be sowing them into these. I just feel like these seem like an appropriate scallion container. I've remembered to label them, guys. Seed labels. These might be a bit difficult to get out because when I get them out, I feel like I'm gonna have to like dump them out. But I just feel like alliums are very forgiving. At least I found they don't like mind to be moved around and stuff. They just kind of thrive in any environment. I love alliums. Alliums are probably my favorite vegetable. I just love alliums. I'm an onion girl. Seed depth for these scallions is 1/4 inch. I love allium seeds. They're just like, they're black and they're really pretty. Sprinkle, spritz the top. There we go. Seed starting mix on the top, spritz it. You guys are getting it, right? You guys are kind of getting the idea. And in a few weeks, probably even a week or 2, we'll see how these are doing. And if nothing is germinated, positive vibes. Okay, now we can cross more stuff off the list. So we've done cilantro, parsley, chives, scallions. We're freaking zooming through this. I'm pretty impressed. But again, if this like does not work, then damn. But I love trying new things, you know? It's good for our brains, you know? Hey, we're running down to our last few containers. This is the big salad container. This is literally just like an old frozen waffle box. You can use anything, you guys. You could even use like toilet roll if you wanted to separate your containers. Or you don't even really need to do this, to be honest. Once plants start getting your true leaves, if you're like an experienced gardener, then you know like what's growing in your garden usually. But I feel like this is a good example of, I don't know, how to separate seeds if you're sowing them all into one container. We'll just do kales in this one. There, made a decision. Decision is made. Kales in this one. Dino kale. What is the other one? Dazzling blue kale. I just know how much this feeds my family. Like kale and Swiss chard were my top producers, specifically kale. So I'm like, I want to give it the room because I just know we'll be eating so much of it. It does so well here in the Pacific Northwest. 1/4 inch deep. I'm assuming for both. Yup. If you watch the video of me doing the seed haul and unboxing, I got like a weirdly big size of the dino kale, which I'm not mad about. Just didn't even realize. Oh no. Oh well, I think I just lost a few. I guess that's why I bought this mega size, because I knew I was going to drop it maybe. What a mess. Then we'll do the dazzling blue. I've never had this kale before. It looks really pretty. Oh, I know I've already said this, but I am praying this works, this method, because I love it. This has been so easy and so fun. All these containers were completely free. Okay, now we'll do the Swiss chards. I can't believe I used like all of these containers. That was just so quick. I picked up those extra fruit containers. I was like, I don't even know if I'll use these. I did. And I used like all of this seed starting mix almost. This, I have 2 different Swiss chards. Swiss chard celebration, which I sowed last year. Very good. And Swiss chard ruby red rhubarb. I made the labels. Swiss chard celebration, Swiss chard, ruby red rhubarb. 1/2 inch deep. I have some old Swiss chard celebration seeds from last year that I definitely want to use. And the cool thing about Swiss chard seeds, you guys, I keep being like, do you guys see these seeds? And you guys probably don't. But there's actually multiple seeds in one of these Swiss chard seeds. They're related to beets. And I've personally never grown beets. I don't like really have the room. They grow in clumps. And then when you grow them, like one seed could turn into like a clump of like 4 beets or something. I say this in like every video, but I am sweating. I might have like a sweating problem. So now let's cover these up. It says 1/2 inch deep. Spritz. I'm just really excited to see how this winter sowing project goes. I have used a lot of I've kind of used a lot of seeds, but I have backup seeds. Always have backup seeds. These ones are done. And then we have like one more thing. We have one more container, so that's all I can really do is one more thing. I want to sow way more lettuce than just this lettuce. It's butterhead lettuce, Australia. I saw in someone's video, I don't even remember whose, they said that doing this winter sowing method with head lettuce works really well, but not really with like spring lettuce or spring lettuce mixes. Again, all of these seeds that I'm sowing today will be in the description. I have a discount code with Epic Gardening and with Botanical Interest. So get your seeds. It's never too late to get seeds. My first garden, I started in like the end of June or July, which is like the worst time to start a garden. You can really start whenever. I honestly think the best time to start a garden is like a fall garden, because you can really grow tons of greens and herbs, and it's just like less stress, honestly. Can't believe this is the last one. Low key, you guys, I wish I had more recyclable containers. I guess I could go into my apartment complex's recycling bin and go dumpster diving. Lettuce seeds is like 1/8 inch to like surface sown, it says. So lettuce seeds are they're also very tiny. I don't want to just spill those all on the ground. spritz it, and then I'll probably bottom water all of these maybe in like a week, because these will stay watered in and moist way better than if I were to start seeds indoors. That's why I'm doing this instead of starting my seeds under warm grow lights, because when I'm away, I can bottom water all of these containers before I leave, and they will be good by the time I get back, because I'm gone for a week. And if you start seeds indoors under warm grow lights with like heating pads and stuff, plus it's already warm in the apartment, I've never been able to go a week without watering in like small seed cells. They just need your constant attention. So I won't be doing that until I'm out of the clear, until I'm back from Hawaii, basically, until I'm back from visiting my family. So look, you guys, we can cross everything. Oh, we didn't do mustard greens, but whatever. We did our kales, we did our Swiss chards, and we did our lettuce. So we sowed 95% of the seeds that we said we would today. Very exciting. We basically finished all the seed starting mix that we made in the last video. And again, if you missed the last video, it'll be in the description so you know how to make your own seed starting mix. I already have a lot of the containers out on the balcony, so I'll show you my plan for them. So I don't have much room on my balcony. It is what it is, but I'll show you guys kind of what I've been doing. So this is what I got going. So I have some of them in this black tray. I'm putting that there. I think I can fit another one there. Oh, that's perfect. So I'm sure you can see how crowded this one corner of my balcony garden is. So I'm putting some of these on my, it's called the Ultimate Roller. GreenStalk sent it to me, and it has wheels on it, which is pretty cool. But also if you water anything on it, it'll collect in there, which I love. That's like perfect for a balcony garden, because you don't want to get water on the balcony because then it'll drip down. My plan is just to put these here and just see how they do. My balcony is south facing, so it gets a good amount of sun. There we go. So this is my first winter sowing experiment. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated on how the containers are doing and how I water them. To me, this was really easy. These containers are free. You guys can get them from anywhere. I've even seen people use like milk cartons, and a lot of people will go to coffee places and just be like, can I have some of your recycled milk cartons? So I hope you learned something new. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel and let me know what you're sowing right now. Are you doing cool crops, or do you live somewhere where you can already kind of start your warm crops, your hot season crops? Please like this video if you learned something. Subscribe to the channel, CHELSGROWS, and I will see you next time. Love you, mean it. Bye.